Well, welcome back to another edition of 42nd Street Pete's Grindhouse. Let's go back to the Monster Kids for a bit. 1964, only it isn't a monster movie. It's a beach party movie called Muscle Beach Party, with the usual suspects: Annette Funicello, Frankie Avalon, John Ashley, Jody McRae, and Candy Johnson. And these were all run at kiddie matinees when I was growing up. So, hey, we went to see Candy Johnson. But the interesting thing about these films, and especially Muscle Beach in particular, is how they're peppered with up-and-comers and, names that you would know. The premise is that there is this countess managed by Buddy Hackett, and she collects men. And the usual beach party gang has a residence next to Mr. Galaxy's thing, led by trainer Jack Fanny, played by Don Rickles. And Jack Fanny was a takeoff on then fitness guru Vic Tanny. So he's training Mr. Galaxy, who is Flex whatever, and played by Rock Stevens. And Rock Stevens is actually Peter Lupus from Mission Impossible. So initially, the Countess, played by Lucina Paluzzi, falls for, Flex. And there's a bunch of stuff going on. But then she has a chance encounter with Frankie after he has a fight with Annette on the beach, and she decides that she wants to basically make Frankie a rock star. And she records him playing with Dick Dale and the Daytones, which, honestly, they got a lot of good bands in some of these films. Dick Dale was in this one as well as Little Stevie Wonder. And, the whole thing was, his guys poo-poo on him when he shows up with a whole bunch of these records because he's abandoning them, abandoning the surfers, the whole bit. So, in the interim, Flex is a little bit pissed off that he got dumped, and they want revenge. So, they go to Cappy's, which is the local hideaway run by Maury Amsterdam as Cappy, who stays in a cage upstairs. And now there's this big brawl going on between the surfers and the muscle men. And in between this was Jack Fanny's boss, Mr. Strangehour, who was called up, and you just see his hands. And you see these two bricks and the boards put on him during the phone conversation. You see him break the first board, break two more boards, crush the bricks with his hands, and tie the phone in a knot. You don't know who the fuck this is. So in the midst of all this shit, Mr. Strangehour arrives during the climactic battle and yells for everybody to stop. And it's none other than Peter Lorrie. So he walks up to Frankie Avalon and tells Flex Martin, "You're going home." And Frankie Avalon looks at him and he goes, "Do I know you?" And Peter Lorrie goes, I think you might have heard of me. I'm the strongest man in the world." And then he drags Flex Martin out of there, and then the credits roll. At the end of the credits, there was a picture of Peter Lorrie thanking him for his participation in this picture, and look for him in the next picture of Bikini Beach. Well, sadly, that never happened, because that year Peter Lorrie appeared in Muscle Beach Party and The Patsy, and he passed away shortly after that. Had he lived, he probably would have continued doing some AIP stuff. I mean, he had already done Comedy of Terrors, Tales of Terror, and The Raven. And, he'd worked with Vincent Price, Boris Karloff, and all those guys. So it was a lock that he would stay, but unfortunately, like I said, he passed away. The films are a lot of fun. Like I said, a lot of character actors pop up in these things, and I was looking to grab this one because I hadn't seen it in a while, and it lived up to my expectations. But anyway, definitely worth a look. I think it just came out on a Blu-ray maybe or something. But, hey, you want to see something, you got to pay to see it. And the other thing is, I'm going back to this shit because of what happened last Friday. Anything on my website you purchase, the proceeds will be sent to help the soldiers in Ukraine, because obviously we are turning our backs on allies again because of this fucking asshole. So, and I know I'm going to get some heat from that, and I know people are going to say, "I'm not going to buy nothing off you." Well, guess what? Since Trump took office, nobody's bought a goddamn thing, and I don't blame them, because you can't even afford fucking groceries. I just paid $7 for a dozen eggs. So think about what's going on and think hard about it, boys and girls. So until next time, stay safe. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the flip side.